practice Meridian Yoga Technique Chair Sequence. Make sure you have a chair, a wall, a yoga ball, a strap, perhaps a block. Let's join our voices, our collective consciousness, creating unity for all with the universe, with the sound of one Om. Om gives rise to all. May we help each other along the way and be guided and protected by the highest levels of compassion, kindness, intelligence, wisdom. May we dedicate our practice to all beings everywhere, so that all beings may be free of suffering and pain. May we find peace and happiness, including ourselves. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Let's start by activating the lower pathways. We'll begin by slapping the tops of our feet. This is the stomach pathway. Reach down as far as you can. If you can't reach all the way down, reach as far as you can so that you can just feel the energy rising up through the body. Slap as hard as you can, feel a tingling sensation. You want this to be fun. You want to create vitality and energy. When you come up to your hip creases, use your fists gently across the hip flexors, hip creases, and then engage the abdominal muscles and hit hard with your fists. You're sparking the digestive fire within, all across the stomach pathway. The stomach has to do with the earth element. It's about nurturing, finding clarity in thought. Use your palms for your lower ribs, move up to the top ribs, and then bring your shoulders forward, get behind the collarbone, stomach 12, empty basin. It's like the hip creases of the upper body, great for lymphatic drainage. Use your fingertips as you rise up through the small muscles of the throat, either side of the voice box, up underneath the chin, on top of the chin, sides of the mouth, into the front of the face, right below the lower lids, right below the pupils. That is stomach 1 point. Again, you're releasing any of the negative emotions, the energy affiliated with those, worry, neediness, overconsumption. Reverse the direction. Inhale through the nostrils, bringing in the light, the prana of the universe, back behind the collarbones again. Tops of the ribs, lower ribs, engage the abdominal muscles, create that strength. Stomach pathway has to do with strength, releasing worry, neediness, gently on the hip creases, then down the quads, all the way down the lower legs, slapping the tops of the feet, and then pinch the second toe. That is where the pathway, the energy of the pathway ends. We'll continue up the side of the body, gallbladder pathway, sides of the ankles, sides of the lower legs, into the IT bands in the middle of the thighs. You can use your fists here. Really hitting hard. Gallbladder 31 is evil wind market. It's about releasing all the stress from the sides of the body. Come into the hips, hitting hard with your fists here, just beneath the hip crest, above the greater trochanter. All these little stabilizing muscles that propel you forward, give you drive and determination. But you want to release the negativity involved with the gallbladder pathway. It's anger, frustration, impatience. Use your palms on the sides of your torsos. Gallbladder lives on the right side, just underneath the liver. And then use the tops of the knuckles and rub across the sides of the ribs, really expanding the diaphragm, expanding the lungs. Again, you're pulling in the love and light of the universe, releasing out of the nostrils on the exhalation any negativity you no longer need or want in the body. Use your fists on the top of the opposite trap, getting into that gallbladder 21 point. As the energy rises, the chi rises up. You want to release that. That is that shoulder well point. We'll come back to that also with some acupressure. Come up to the sides of the neck, gallbladder, up underneath the ear and behind the ear until you come above the ear. A little indentation there, or you're at the temporalis muscle, largest muscle of the jaw. Release the tension in the jaw. Close your eyes here and envision the energy moving through the brain, perhaps creating flashes of lighter images on the back of the forehead. Just be the seer here. Bring the fingertips all the way into the outer corners of the eyes, gallbladder 1. Again, releasing anger, frustration, impatience. This is the wood element. It's about finding growth, transformation. Reverse the direction. Come back around the ears, down the throat. Use the fists again on the top of the traps. Opposite fist on opposite trap. Gallbladder 21. Tops of the knuckles, sides of the ribs. Just create that vitality as you can. Just have fun. This is about finding the intuitive level of communication with the self and listening to what the body has to say to you. Use the palms on the sides of the torso, then the fists again on those stabilizing muscles, the TFL muscles on the sides of the hips there, gallbladder 29 and 30 points, down all the way into the sides of the IT bands, the middle of the thigh on the sides of the body, gallbladder 31, coming all the way down the sides of the lower leg, and then pinch the fourth toe. Energetically, that is where the gallbladder ends. We'll continue on the back of the body, allowing our fists to hit deeply into the bony parts of our heels, into the Achilles tendon. Urinary bladder pathway has to do with fear, with shock. Come up to the back of the calves, and then gently on the backs of the knees, very gingerly here. Some nervy points, and then you can hit harder into the hamstrings, sciatic nerve area, and then gently rise up. Be careful with your back if you have any osteoporosis or osteopenia. You want to make sure you're not rounding, but you're instead keeping a flat back. Come into the corners of the pelvic floor here. We're vibrating into the pelvic organs. Muladhara root chakra has to do with fear. And then all into the gluteal muscles, getting maybe into piriformis, psoas muscles in there, letting go, releasing fear, releasing shock. Coming to the triangular bony area of the sacrum, you can hit hard there. And then separate the fists, come outside the spinal column, all the way up, come as far up as you can. If you can't come that far, that's okay. Again, come as far as you can. Sometimes as we age, we have issues with our shoulders, frozen shoulder, rotator cuff issues can make it hard to reach up. So just go as far as you can, but if you can reach up to your lower ribs, this relates to your kidneys, your organs of your kidneys, maybe even above to the adrenal glands. On the left side is yin energy, female energy. Right side is yang, male energy. And then reach up if you can again, and then palms slap the top of the back. Coming up to the neck, use your fingertips. Then those little points where the skull meets the neck, bladder 10 points. Celestial pillar points connecting heaven to earth. And then rising all the way up to the top of the head. Close your eyes and use your fingertips. Feel the energy moving through the brain. Come to the forehead. You're releasing fear and shock. Come all the way into the tear ducts, and then you can press and hold the tear ducts. Bladder 1 point. Let's reverse the direction. Through the forehead, top of the head. Feel the energy rise through the brain. Use your breath to move the energy, to change the prana, to change the thought process and patterns within you. So you change yourself physically. Come back to those bladder 10 points. We'll return to those with some self-acupressure. Down the neck, slapping the top of the back. And then again, reaching up with the fists either side of the spinal cord, coming down those bladder points, down the sides of the spinal column, never on the vertebra. And then all into the gluteal area before heading into the sacral area of the tailbone, that triangular bony part, the sacrum. And then even getting into the corners of the pelvic floor before bending forward. Keeping a flat back again if you have issues with osteoporosis or osteopenia. Using the fists on the back of the thighs, gently, gingerly on the backs of the knees. Slapping down the calves, using the fists again on the Achilles tendon and the heels before pinching the pinky toes. The pinky toes is where the pathway energetically ends. You can envision that in your mind's eye, moving from the tear duct corner of the eyes all the way around the top of the head, the back of the head, the back of the body. It's a long pathway. And then gently rise up with a flat back. Take a moment, palms facing forward, close your eyes. Feel how much the energy has already begun to shift. And then flutter your eyes open. Bring your feet together, heels and toes together if that works for you. If you feel like you have an issue with balance, you can separate your feet and hips with. We're going to bring our arms up and try to find that Kali Mudra. Interlacing your fingers, keeping your index fingers out, biceps by your ears. Press down through the four corners of the feet, pulling up, get tall, and then we're going to arc over to the right. We're stretching now the pathways that we just activated. So the vertical pathways are said to connect heaven to earth. You, yourself, your body is the conduit. And if this is too much for you, again, you do you. It's all about listening to your body. Challenge yourself when you can. But if this is too much, you can always separate your hands out, palms facing each other, creating a shoulder width distance between your palms. Or you can bring your right hand to your right hip and then continue to bump your left hip points out. Just be sure to keep your collarbones, your shoulders, your hip points facing forward, open in alignment, allowing the abdomen to pull in and up. Every inhale allows you to open across the ribs, the intercostal muscles, feeling that whole left side stretching open, gallbladder pathway. Perhaps you can sense the energy moving from the fourth toe all the way up the side of the body, across the left upper trap, zigzagging around the outside of the skull on the left into the outer corner of the left eye. And then inhale, rise back up. Whatever you did on that side, let's inhale, pulling our fingers up, and then begin to arc over to the left side, pulling the right hip to the right side of the room. Keep your elbows straight if that works for you, and just allow yourself to come down as far as possible. Most important is to feel the ribs move apart with every inhalation through the nostrils, and then feel the constriction of the ribs coming back together as you exhale. Feel the diaphragm moving up towards the heart, and then inhale back to center. Again, you can keep your feet, hips with distance if that works better for you. We're going to stretch the front of the body, and this might be as far as you go. You might just look up with your heels of your hands connected, stretch your chin up, relax your throat and face. Try to press your hip points forward and just do what you can do. If you can go farther back in the back bend, bringing your heart and your fingers up and back, do that. Whatever works for your body. If that is too much and you need to, you can bring your hands down to your lower back, bring your elbows in, begin to press with your hands, your hip points forward, and bring the elbows back to your wall. And then if you can just even bring the top of your head to the wall. So you're stretching through the second toes. Feel the energy move up across the front of the body, fronts of the legs, across the hip flexors, either side of the navel, up through the collarbones. Relax the throat, the face. Feel the energy move up to stomach one, the points just under the eyeballs. And then inhale, return, reach up, and then come to sitting in your chair. We're going to take the forward fold in the chair. So allow yourself to find in your stable chair, feet, hips with distance, and then we're going to, with a flat back, allow ourselves to fold forward with the heart, sliding our hands down. And then just as though you are in a modified happy baby, just feel the back of the body opening. It's more that you are feeling the pelvic floor opening, the hip bones, the sits bones widening through the back. Feel the back of the tailbone, the bottom of the tailbone reaching towards the back of the room, and the energy through the top of the head reaching towards the front of your room. You can even try to bring your gaze towards your heart here. Keep the back flat. Feel the back of the body opening, finding faith over fear. This is the water element. Let it flow, let it go. Letting go of fear. You're releasing the fight or flight response within the body. And then slowly and gently rise back up. Find yourself in that comfortable seated position in your chair, and we'll continue with our fascial stretches. So it's now this upper body stretches, activating the upper pathways of the body. So find yourself balanced and comfortable in your chair. Reach your arms straight out to the sides. Palms are facing up. Thumbs are pulling towards the back of the room. Try to keep the arch out of the back. Pull up through the pelvic floor, up through the spinal column, up through the top of the head, and then activate with the breath across the lung pathway. This is the pathway that allows you to release emotions like sadness, sorrow, depression. Feel the line of tension from thumb tip to thumb tip. You're finding liberation, freedom. Even feel yourself breathing up to the top of the lungs, the top 3 ribs of the rib cage. The lungs go above the collarbones, so see if you can sense that within. And then gently release your left arm down and continue with the right arm, palm down, pull through the index finger. This is the large intestine. Works in conjunction with the lung pathway. The element is metal. Bring your chin over to your left shoulder and then down to your chest, as though you could tuck your chin into your armpit, pulling through the index finger on the right. Feel the energy move up the arm, across the neck, into the front of the face, crossing into the left nostril. The large intestine has to do with elimination, purification. Keep your shoulders in alignment, no twisting, no turning, no tweaking. And then see if you can sense the breath eliminating out of the left nostril. Gently release the left hand down. We'll take that on the right, the right arm down. We'll take that on the left. And pull the energy through the left index finger. Bring your chin over your right shoulder and down towards your right armpit. Feel the stretch from the left tip of the index finger across the right nostril. Again, see if you can sense the breath eliminating out of the right nostril. And then gently lower your arm down. Continue with the pericardium stretch. So flex your fingers up towards the ceiling. Press out through the palms of the hands. Pericardium has to do with the connective tissue around the heart, protecting the heart. The energy comes out of the pec muscles, through the inner part of the bicep, the forearm, inner wrist, inner palm, up to the middle finger, the tip of the middle finger. Allows you to cultivate joy. It's about relationships, finding connectivity. Just breathe here. Feel yourself connected to all beings through this energetic field of the computer or the phone, whatever screen you might be using. And then gently release your hands down. Palms face forward. Bring your hands to the sides of your chair behind you. You might even bring your shoulders up to your ears and then just squeeze the shoulder blades and scapula behind your heart. Pull through the ring fingers. And then gently bring your heart towards your chin and your chin towards your heart. Feel that stretch across the back of the neck. This is the triple heater pathway. The element is fire. It has to do with passion, relationships. Feel that connection to the organs, all the organs, and then gently bring your chin down toward the chest, down towards the left armpit. Pull through the right ring fingers. We're connecting through to the first line of defense for the body, boosting the immune system, protecting the organs, finding the communication through the connective tissue. Then bring the chin back to center, bring it over to the right armpit. Chin down, pull through the left ring finger. We're also connecting to the triple burners of the torso, the compartments that connect the torso. Lung and heart have to do with respiration. In the upper burner, middle burner is digestion, liver, gallbladder, stomach, spleen, pancreas. And lower burner is elimination, the intestines, the kidneys, the bladder. Bring the chin back to center. You can take a couple of neck rolls, one in each direction, before we continue with heart and small intestines. Pulling your fingertips wide out, palms facing forward. Feel the energy move from the heart, the smallest point in the heart, on the right side of the heart, through the undercarriage of the arms into the tips of the pinky finger. The small intestine is basically the same line of energy from the back of the heart, zigzags across the top of the scapula. And they work in tandem. Of course, the element is fire, passion, love, wisdom, compassion. And begin to rotate your left thumb down. You can bend the elbow and continue that internal rotation of the left shoulder. Bring the back of your hand in between your scapula. You might want your strap at this point. So grab the strap in your right hand and allow the left hand to catch it underneath. You don't really have to worry about going so far with your hands, trying to meet fingertips into the bind. More important is you're externally rotating your right shoulder so that you can open the right armpit for that heart 1 point. And then just concentrate on the heart here, deep in the chest. Focus on the wisdom of the self, the connection heart to heart through all beings. The antidote to all is in the heart. And then gently release. Keep your strap handy, maybe behind you on the chair. We'll continue on the other side. Begin to rotate your left thumb down. Continue that internal rotation with the right elbow. Reach up, holding your strap. Drop it down your back. Grab it with your bottom hand. More important is to get your elbow behind your head. Try to use your head to open up the left armpit, externally rotating the left arm, left shoulder now. Find that moment of the connection of the self. See if you can just breathe into that. Feel the beating of your heart connecting you to all the beatings, all the hearts beating throughout all of the universe. And then gently release. Keep your strap near you on the chair. Take a moment. Close your eyes. Concentrate on the breath. Palms on your thighs. Find that moment of connection. Start in the heart. Connect in the heart. Always find yourself in the heart. Flutter your eyes open. And we're going to take that modified happy baby pose as we begin to rotate forward from the hinging at the hips. Take a moment and then rise back up. Breathe from the heart. Give yourself a little spinal twist of growth, of energy. And then we'll come to standing at your wall. So bring your 2 palms to the wall, wherever your wall is. I'm going to use this as my wall. And you want to find a diagonal if you can. This is going to be a modified downward facing dog. So see how comfortable you feel with your legs behind your hips. I mean, if that's not comfortable, you can just stay with your feet under your hips. You want to try to feel the connection of left and right palm. Fan your fingers out. Fan your toes out. You can keep your knees bent, whatever you need to feel an elongation in the spine and a connection to all of the most conscious parts of the body, the extremities, the fingers and the toes. Find that connection to the most unconscious parts of the body, internally, the organs, the energy, the prana. And then let's take it deeper. Stretch your right toes out. Feel the energy move from the right palm all the way through to the right toes. Allow your breath to go deeper still. Feel your right lung holding space and supporting your right shoulder. Feel your ascending colon, your liver, your gallbladder, your right kidney holding space and supporting your right hip. And gently release your right foot down. We'll take that on the left side. Inhale, stretch your left foot up and back. Go deeper. Feel your right lung, the heart supporting, holding space for your left shoulder, your left side of the body, the kidney, the descending colon, the stomach, spleen, pancreas, holding space and support for the left hip. Breathing here, move the energy, move the prana, and then gently release the foot. Walk yourself back into full-on standing position, and then sit back in the chair. We'll continue by stretching through the bladder pathway. So come to your chair, make sure you feel a stable, grounded support as you sit in the chair. Root through the pelvic floor, the sits bones, and then hinge at the hips, keep your back flat. Guide your hands down your legs. Come to where you can gaze towards your heart and then begin to activate bladder 60-62. So you're going to squeeze your hands behind your heels, if that works for you, on the outside of your legs. And then use your thumbs to activate bladder 60-62. It's on the outside of the heel, just below the ankle bone. And on the inside of the heel, you'll be activating kidney 3 rather. So all these points help you open and release the back of the body. So try to feel the sensation as you begin to release and open the entire back of the body. Feel yourself finding faith over fear. That can be your mantra. Feel yourself creating space in between the vertebrae, allowing for, again, a release, a reduction of the fight or flight response of the body, calming the central nervous system. And then use your thumbs on the back of your neck, the top of the neck, where the neck and the occipital lobe of the skull meet. You can wrap your rest of your fingers around. That's the bladder 10 point celestial pillar points. Really great for headaches. It's a great point to self-administer. Allows you to open the entire back of the body. And then gently with a flat back, come back to your seated position. Come to standing. I'm going to activate kidney points, kidney 1 in particular. So make sure that you have your strap handy and also your yoga ball. So with your yoga ball, find your wall. We're going to start with our left hand on the wall first. Using the yoga ball on our right foot, we're going to find that kidney 1 point at the center of the sole of the foot, just beneath the ball of the foot. And this point is called gushing spring. So you're going to bring your ball down, and maybe you roll your right foot all across the yoga ball, activating kidney 1, the foundational energy of gushing spring. And then maybe you keep your heel on the ground and just kind of do little pulsing lunges. Maybe you can feel that energy as it just gushes up through the body. And then take your strap. If you can use make sure your ball is out of your way so you don't slip on it. Make your strap into a U, if you can. Use both hands for this. And then pull your leg up. Try to activate the strap onto kidney 1 point. If you need to hold on to the wall, you can hold on to the strap with your right hand. Keep your back straight. If you're using your left hand on the wall, try to take it away as you can so that you create more balance. And then you're going to, as you have your strap holding the foot straight out, bring the strap over to the side. Feel both the left and the right foot through the kidney 1, coming up through the innermost parts of the legs into the pelvic floor, rising up through the kidneys, up to kidney 27, just below the collarbones. Then bring the right leg back. Try to stretch it a little higher to give yourself a hamstring stretch. This is a great hamstring stretch for the body. Bend the knee and then let your foot slide out of the strap. Now we're going to take that all on the other side. So find your ball and you can hold on to the wall, hold on to your chair, roll your left foot across the ball, activating that kidney 1 point gushing spring. The kidney has to do with willpower. It's of course the water element, works in conjunction with the bladder pathway. And then maybe you take those little pulses and then slip your strap around the kidney one point of the sole of the foot as you bend the knee. If you can, stretch your left leg straight out. Keep both legs straight. You can keep a bend in the top leg if you need, but keep your standing leg straight. And again, feel the energy pull up through both the left and the right foot. And then you can stretch that left leg out. If you're holding onto the wall, try to let go. The more balance you challenge yourself with, the more balance you try to create, the more balance you will have. So find that balance, find that foundational support up through kidney 1, rising up through the innermost parts of the legs, the calves, the thighs, into the pelvic floor, up through the kidneys, up to kidney 27, the top of the sternum just beneath the collarbones. Bring your left leg back, raise your left foot a little higher, bend the knee, and then release your foot out of the strap. Keep the strap nearby, and we're going to spread our feet wide for spread foot posture. Make sure your ball is out of the way so you don't trip or slip on it. And your toes are facing the long edge of your mat. Bring your hands to your hips. Lead with your heart. Try to come down, hinging from the hip. Feel the pelvic floor pulling open and back. And then you can keep a deep bend in your knees. You can begin to slide your hands down your legs. When you get to about parallel with your back to the ground, really feel yourself. It's kind of like that hike position in football. Feel your pelvic floor pulling back. Gaze at the floor and feel the energy pulling out of the crown chakra, the top of the head towards the front of your root. And then see if you can come down even further, pulling the pelvic floor, the sits bones open and up as you pull the top of the head down towards the mat. You can reach out to the outsides of your heels. You can reach behind your Achilles tendon and massage the Achilles tendon. You can go all the way up the inner part of the calf, that kidney pathway, to the bottom of the calf muscle, kidney 9, a point there called kidney 9. I'm coming to show you. Kidney 9 is basically at the teardrop of the calf muscle. And massage that point. It's known as guest house. So it's a great way, it might be very tender, it's a great way to release a lot of negative energy within. And then gently rise back up. And then come to standing. We're going to continue with stomach pathway. So if you want, you can just lift your heart, stretch through your spine a little bit. Since we're not doing sun salutations, you can take any modifications you need. We're going to come to our chair for a modified Kapyasana. So with the modified Kapyasana, from forward, just begin to shimmy to the right. Bring your hand to the back of your chair and stretch your left leg back. So your right thigh is basically parallel to the ground on the chair, your right foot facing forward. Make sure your hips can be squared towards the short edge of your mat. I mean, if you've got it set up that way, that's how I have it. So to the side of your chair. And find that lunge through the foot. Bring your left hand to your lower back. We're activating through stomach pathway, also spleen pathway here. First and second toes. You can just rise up with your heart and your eyes. Look up, look back. Feel the stretch happen on the left side from the second toe all the way up the front of the leg, through the hip flexor, the sides of the navel, up through the collarbone. Soften your throat, your face, and just breathe. Think in terms of pulling the energy of the digestive tract all the way up that tunnel of muscle that helps you digest. But we're nurturing ourselves here. We're feeling the energy move from right underneath the eyes, stomach 1, down to the second toe. Keep your left buttocks tightened to protect your back. And then gently lead with your heart. Bring your left knee to your right. And then swivel through center all the way to the other side. Setting up for modified Kapyasana on the left. So stretch your foot back. Find that lunge basically as you use the chair to support you. Bring your right hand to your lower back. Begin to press your hip points down and forward, pulling with your heart, your eyes up and back, feeling the stretch through the first and second toes, spleen and stomach pathways through the front of the body. The emotions are worry, neediness. You're releasing those, releasing that sense of overthinking, overconsumption, over everything, so that you don't worry, so that you find clarity of thought, earth element, nurturing. Feel the energy of the digestive tract, the stomach pathway pulling up through the stomach, spleen, and pancreas on the left, the gallbladder and liver on the right. Make sure you can look up and back at least a couple of inches. Challenge yourself. And then lead with the heart. Pull your right knee forward and then come to facing center front. You're going to continue with the stomach massage. So from your navel, go about an inch out on each side. You're going to create little soft fists with your hands. And again, you're going to keep that flat back so that you don't hurt your back if you have any, potentially fracturing issues with the bones. That's what osteoporosis is. You lose bone density as you age. And then as you hinge forward at the hips, allow your fists to disappear in your stomach. And then you can come down so that your torso is basically almost on your thighs. It's a modified child's pose. And you can begin to massage in one direction with the fists. If that's too much, you can always just stay in a seated position and just press the fists in as far as possible, finding an activation of those stomach 25 points. That's where your fists are right now. And on the outer edges, it's spleen 15. And just use the breath. Breathe down into the fists. Breathe down into the bottom of the abdomen towards the pelvic floor. Feel the pelvic floor pulling open and back towards the back of your chair. Use the breath to unbind any stagnant chi here. We get so knotted up with the energy that goes through our stomach pathway, our stomach organs. You hear people say, I was so worried my stomach was in knots. So let it go. Breathe in and then gently rise back up, hinging at the hips. We'll continue with stomach 12, which is right beneath or behind the collarbone. So the best way to find this point is to bring your shoulders forward, curl your fingers back behind the collarbone, and then allow your shoulders to return to their normal position as you press into the point behind. You've kind of trapped your fingers there. Stomach 12, empty basin point. It connects head to heart. And then there's a movement we do. Bring your chin towards your heart and then gently stretch your chin up. Continue this movement back and forth. Just breathing into the energy of the stomach pathway. Telling yourself you are enough. Nurturing yourself, nourishing yourself, using the breath to illuminate you from each cell inside of you, each intelligent cell that knows so wisely how to do its job to heal the body. Release your hands. We'll use that energy as we create a modified camel. Come to standing and be near your wall. So about a foot and a half away from your wall. You've kind of done this before already when we did the stomach stretch in the beginning. Bring your hands to your lower back, your elbows close together. Begin to open across the collarbones. Press your hip points forward. You can keep your feet hips width distance. And then as you press your hip points forward, bring your elbows to the wall, or then maybe allow yourself to continue pressing your hip points forward. Allow your head to come to the wall. So you are supported here, but you're allowing yourself to go as deeply as is physically possible for your body, opening all across the front of the body. Think of the energy moving from stomach 1 just underneath the eyeballs. Soften your face, your throat. Allow the energy to come down through stomach 12 behind the collarbones. Continues down along either side of the navel, stomach 25. Widens out of the pubis bone across the hip flexors, down across the tops of the quads, the lower legs, into the second toe. And then gently lead with your heart. Slowly rise up. Take a moment and then return to sitting in your chair. So from stomach pathway, we'll transition into gallbladder. So make sure that you are rooted down through the sits bones, hips with distance with your feet, and then begin to just gently twist towards the left. You can keep your left hand at the back of your chair, bring your right hand over your left knee, and then stretch that left arm up and over. If this is enough for you and you feel supported and you feel your left sits bone connected to the chair, that's great. If you want to bring your right hand to your right hip, whatever allows you to feel most supported, you can bring your right hand to your, did I say left hip? It's right hand to your right chair seat, the edge of it. You want to just be able to keep your heart open, no hunching over, and feel the top half of the gallbladder pathway stretching open. You can let your head fall off the neck. Just every inhale opening across the ribs, the intercostals. Feel the energy move from the left hip all the way across to the outer edge of the left eye. Breathing in, breathing out, and then gently rise up. You take that on the other side. So begin to bring your right hand over, or left hand over your right knee, right hand behind you. Stretch as far as possible, keeping your chin parallel to the ground, and then stretch your right arm up and over. Try to keep your elbows straight. Keep your heart open and high. Use whatever variation worked for you on the other side that allows you to feel supported, held, allowing you to feel the stretch from the right hip all the way across the right side of the torso where the gallbladder lives beneath the liver. Every inhale opening across the ribs, intercostal muscles, allowing the lungs to open for more air. Ostensibly then allowing for more oxygenated blood to be sent to each cell for nourishment and nurturing food for the illumination of the self. And then inhale, rise up. And we'll activate gallbladder 21. You can do these points at the same time, both at the upper traps. You can just massage each one, soften the muscles, the upper traps, and then just press down. You can use all 4 fingers. Close the eyes, concentrate on the chi dissipating down through the body. Gallbladder is about allowing negative energy to dissipate through the sides of the body so the energy doesn't go into the organs, causing dis-ease. And just breathe here. And then release. You can come to about an inch above the ears. Gallbladder 8, belly lead. It allows for you to calm the mind. Great for earaches, jaw aches, any throat pain, headaches. Just breathe into that, calm the mind. Beautiful. And now we're going to stand before getting down onto the ground. And we're going to do what I call the yoga dismount. It's so important to know how to get up and down from the floor. Things happen. You need to be prepared to know how to help yourself if you're alone. So we're going to bring our left hand to the chair. We're going to come down onto our right knee. Bring your right hand onto your left knee. Stabilize yourself. Then bring your left knee down. And then come down to a tabletop position. Let me move this camera so you can see me a little bit better here. We're going to do basically a thread the needle with our right arm coming down onto our right hips and then rolling onto our right shoulder, gently coming from a fetal position into lying on our back. So we're going to set up for a modified pigeon pose. So this modified pigeon pose, we're going to bring our left leg over our right knee. Keep your entire back on the mat from your sacrum through the back of your head. You might tuck your chin towards your heart a bit, and then reach through the hole created in your thighs. Interlace your fingers behind your right thigh and pull your thigh towards your heart. You're finding an external rotation in the left hip, allowing those muscles, those stabilizing muscles in the left hip to stretch open. Gallbladder pathway, we're allowing ourselves to release anger, impatience, frustration, finding that creative drive, that determination, but making sure it's in balance, making sure it doesn't go into overdrive. So from the outer corner of the left eye, trace the energy down, zigzagging around the left ear, down the left side of the neck, across the left trap, that gallbladder 21 point we just activated. Just acupressure down, zigzagging around the left side of the rib cage, left torso, the left hip into the left IT band, gallbladder 31, evil wind market, down the left side of the calf, outer side of the left calf, into the fourth toe. Feeling that stress dissipate through the side of the body. Tell yourself you have the luxury of time, and you do, you're giving yourself the luxury of time. This is the wood element, it has to do with growth. So concentrate on this time of year, spring, where we are planting seeds, watching them grow, bloom, blossom. But it never happens overnight. So give yourself that time for change and transformation. And let's take this on the other side. Bring your right sole of foot down, bring your left foot to meet it, and then cross your right ankle over your left knee. Reach through, grab, and interlace your fingers behind the left thigh. Bring your head down, pull gently as much as works for your body so you feel the opening on the right hip, those TFL muscles, those stabilizing muscles. Yes, they propel you forward, they drive you forward, but here we want to find the balance. Live in that beautiful, creative balance. Let your exhalations through the nose grow longer. Perhaps you feel them moving from the solar plexus right above the navel, right over the diaphragm. Get empty, empty, empty. Letting go of everything. Feel the transformation within. Connect deep within the heart. Give yourself the time. Inhale deeply through the nose. Open the mouth, let the breath go. Concentrate above the navel at the solar plexus. And then gently release. We're going to continue with the liver pathway, and we're going to create a modified Baddha Konasana. We're going to activate liver 3, so reach for your top of your left foot with your 4 fingers of your right hand. Find that point on the top of your foot. I'll come closer and show you. So it's in between the metatarsal bones of the second and first toes, and liver 3 is basically on the top of the foot. It can be a very tender point there. And you want to feel your left hip externally rotating, so you can even use your left hand to externally rotate it. Press with your left hand on your knee and pull through the pelvic floor, so you're elongating through the spine. You might have an arch in the spine. Activate that liver 3 point. The liver pathway moves from the lateral big toe up through the top of the foot, across the arch, behind the ankle bone, up through the inner calf. And basically it's behind, up and under the shin bone, and then into the thighs, into the adductor muscles. Liver 3, great rushing, releases all anxiety, all negativity. It's like you're throwing your negative emotions into a river and just releasing them, letting them rush away. And then let's take that on the other side. Bring all 4 fingers to the top of your right foot. Find that liver 3 point. Externally rotate your right hip, and then begin to press your right hand on your right knee to open it. Concentrate on releasing. Use the breath to pull the prana of the universe, the beautiful love and light, the positive potentials of the universe into the body. Releasing pain, tension, doubt, confusion, anything you no longer need within you with every exhalation. And then bring the soles of your feet together and allow your knees to open wide. If that's too much for you, you can always put blocks or pillows under your knees. And we're going to activate liver 14. So liver 14 is basically where a bra strap would be, right in the middle of the rib cage, in between the 6th and 7th ribs. So see if you can, as you lie in Supta Baddha Konasana, find those points and press vertically down. Every inhale, you pull in love and light. Every exhale, you're letting go. You're right above the diaphragm. This is a great diaphragm release here. It's called cycle gate, this point, liver 14. The end of the cycle of the meridians, the end of the maybe cycle of breath. It's right there. The diaphragm is connected to the liver. One more inhale, one more exhale. And then gently bring your knees together into your chest. And then begin to release your knees over to the right. You're going to find this spinal twist. Bring your left palm on top of your right knee, palm up. And then stretch your right arm out perpendicularly. Pull the palm energetically towards the sky and pull through the ring fingers on both sides. We're activating through the triple heater pathway here. Again, first line of defense for the body, communication to the connective tissue, to all the organs. Breathing here, allow the breath to do the work. Connect to the triple burners of the torso. Then come through center, bring your legs over to the other side. Right hand on top of left knee, palm facing up, and stretch your left arm out. Your gaze can be over the left fingertips. Pull through the ring fingers now. Triple heater, connect to the functions of respiration through the upper burner, heart and lungs, digestion through the liver and gallbladder, spleen, pancreas, and stomach, middle burner, lower burner, elimination, kidneys, bladder, sexual organs, intestines. And then gently come back through center and roll over into a comfortable seated position. We're going to continue with the heart acupressure. So bring your hand to rest on your knee, fingers towards the midline. Find that deepest cave-like point of the underarm on the right. Use your left thumb, press up and back. You can use your fingers to grab behind towards the scapula. It says heart 1, summit spring, the highest of all points, connecting to the wisdom of the self. Press up and back so that you feel the shoulder blade internally. Let your arm go. And then bring your right hand towards your left knee. We're going to do this little diagonal movement. Keep the pressure of the thumb into the armpit and continue this movement. This diagonal movement is so good for any rotator cuff issues, frozen shoulder. It might be very painful, but keep doing it. Do it every day. It will affect such a change for your shoulders. And then this also allows you to connect to the wisdom of the self, to connect to the emotions of the heart, the fire element, passion, love, compassion. And then stop. Feel how different you may feel on that right side. And then let's balance out the body. Let's do that on the left. Find that deepest, sweatiest point of your armpit. Press your thumb up and back. Wrap your forefingers around the back of the scapula. Look towards the small intestine pathway that runs across the top of the scapula. Release your arm. Feel that point. Then do the movement. Diagonal. You're basically externally rotating the arm and then internally rotating the shoulder. Feel the pressure through the thumb, even and deep. There's so much going on inside of you. And then stop. Just focus on the heart. And now make sure you have your strap handy, because we're going to come down to our stomachs for locust. So make sure that you can, this is the pose no one loves, but it's so good for us. And find yourself on your stomach, your feet together, heels together, toes together. Bring your palms together, pinkies towards the ground, and then begin to slide your hands out, forehead to the ground. You can shimmy your elbows closer so that you have an external rotation of the armpits. You can bring your forehead down to the mat, and then as you do, open up your palms so that the backs of your hands and your thumbs can come down to the mat. That might be just enough for you, but see if you can take it even further. Try to see if you can inhale both your arms and your legs up for locust. It's an offering. You're feeling the energy move from the heart pathway, from the back of the heart, underneath the lower parts of the arms, through the pinky tips. If that's too much for you, you can bring your elbows down. Maybe it's too much to do the legs and the arms at the same time. Pull through the heart. You might even pull your elbows back underneath your shoulders. Palms continue to remain towards the sky, thumbs towards the mat, and pull through your heart. Press your hip bones down. Feel that strength being created in the back. Feel the strength moving from the heart, behind the heart, moving all the way through the heart, underneath the arms, the inner parts of the arms, the forearms, into the pinky, tips of the pinkies. And then maybe you lift your right leg off the mat, lower it, then your left leg up. Strengthening the back is so good as we age. It's so imperative for creating strength so that we don't have any spinal fractures if we do have osteoporosis. And then gently release. We're going to find our straps and continue with 2 floor bows. So for this first floor bow, we're going to create, if we can, a grip with our straps where our thumbs are facing up. And if that doesn't work for you, don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. What is important is to try to pull through the pericardium pathway energetically. So you're going to lift up, pull through the toes, feel the energy move from the pec muscles, feel the energy move from the heart, that CV17 point deep in front of the heart, on the sternum. Do this for the cultivation of joy, for interconnectivity with all beings. Inhale deeply, and then exhale, release. On this next floor bow, you can have the grip on your strap with your thumbs down. We're going to activate the energy of the lung pathway. And we're going to release our breath with lion's breath. So it is a release through the tongue, sticking your tongue out as deeply as possible, releasing it from the base of the throat, at the base of the throat, the top of the lung pathway, the collarbones, and it is a release of all negative energy, sorrow, depression. So thumbs down, inhale, kick through your toes, look up, pull up, then inhale through the nose. We'll do this 3 times. Lion's breath, exhale, tongue out, eyes bug out. Inhale deeply, fully, and completely. Lion's breath, inhale, and then slowly and gently release. Give yourself a moment, and then find yourself in a tabletop position. We're going to do the reverse of that yoga dismount. We're going to bring our hand to our chair. We're going to bring our left foot down, bending the left knee. Bring your hand onto the left knee. Raise yourself up. Stand up. Beautiful. And then come back to sitting down in your chair. We'll take a second. Acclimate yourself to the chair. Take a breath. And then we'll continue with lung 2. Use your left hand, go underneath your collarbone. Find that divot. You might externally rotate your shoulder, your thumb towards the back. Lung pathway. Lung 2. Cloud gate. Just breathe here. Connect to the top of the lung. Again, finding that release, that liberation. Let's do it on the other side. Underneath the collarbone, towards the shoulder, find that divot. Might externally rotate the shoulder and the thumb. Just concentrate on finding that everything through cloud gate. Breathing in, breathing out. And then focusing on the lung 2 point. Pull the energy from that area. Bring your thumbs up and back. And maybe you kind of tuck your fingers towards your bum as you bring the palms onto the back of the chair, thumbs on the sides of the chair. Begin to arch. We're doing a modified camel in the chair, basically leading with the collarbones, leading with the lung 2 points. Allow your head to just cradle itself into the scapula and shoulders behind you. Soften your throat, gaze is back. Focus on that energy, the cloud gate energy, letting go of sorrow. The middle element is the element of the lung pathway. And then gently lead with the heart. Return to a seated position. Root down through the sits bone, pull up through the top of the head. Feel the energy rise up through the spinal cord. And then begin to slide the hands down the legs, hinging at the hips, keeping the back flat, finding yourself in that modified happy baby pose again. Wind relieving pose. Feel the large intestine compressed by your thighs. Feel that compression as it allows you a sense of elimination, of purification energetically. And then rise back up, hinging at the hips. We're going to activate the subtle energy of the pathway by turning towards the right, pulling the left index finger out. Gaze towards the back of your room, back of your chair, chin parallel. Keep your hips facing forward. Feel the energy move from the left fingertip all the way across the top of the arm, across the front of the face into the right nostril. Large intestine pathway, the only pathway that crosses the midline of the body. And then gently release that arm, come through center. Let's take that all on the other side. Stretch through the right tip of the index finger. Gaze towards the back of your chair, back of your room. See if you can even sense the energy of the breath releasing through the left nostril. Let everything go. Feel the elimination, the purification. It's not only just about food waste. This is about things that you've consumed, like words or images. And then come back to center. Close your eyes, palms on your thighs. Take a couple of minutes in this modified Shavasana, this meditative Shavasana, allowing yourself to connect through the heart. Feel the release through the toes, the ankles, the backs of the calves and thighs. Feel the release of the pelvic bowl, left and right arm heavy and relaxed. Sense the intestines, the bladder, the left and right kidney relaxed. Liver, gallbladder, stomach, spleen, and pancreas relaxed. Liver on the right, stomach on the left. Rising up into the diaphragm on both sides, underneath both lungs. Relax the diaphragm, the left and right lung, the heart deep in the center of the chest. The heart relaxes and yet feels light, emanates with love, with compassion, with wisdom. Feel the tops of the lungs and shoulders relax, the base of the throat, the tongue, the mouth, the teeth relax, the nose, eyes, ears relax. Feel the brain, the mind light. Behind as your internal gaze focuses on the eternal energy of all the vibrations, the light, all the energy of being in the universe. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you so much for being a part of our energetic field of being.